So even if you are showing up and you're saying, I'm showing up, I know that there's something about your frequency and your energy that is totally fucking off. And that's why you're not sending people into that container, okay? Welcome to Did I Stutter with Jill Perick. And yeah, I probably did because I have a stuttering disability. But I'm also a multiple six-figure business and mindset coach who's here to help you shut down the mindfuckery of imposter syndrome, self-doubt, and playing the nice girl in your content so you and your brand can blow the fuck up and so you can stack the motherfucking cash. I'm holding absolutely nothing back. We're talking marketing, messaging, mindset, subconscious healing, nervous system regulation, and how to do it all even with raging anxiety, ADHD, and just being a fucking human. If fuck is one of your favorite words and nothing can get in between you, your iced coffee, or the work that you're here to do, I'm your girl. Let's dive in. Hello, my loves. I am recording this on my holiday break and it's been fucking incredible. But oh my God, I have spent so much time with my family. And actually, I think when you're listening to this, if you're listening to this on the podcast, I am actually with my family right now, or I'm about to, because I'm flying out for my nephew's first birthday. My brother and his wife and my little nephew, who is turning 1 on January 15th, they live in Alberta and I'm in Ontario, and they were just here for Christmas. It was so amazing, but I am all peopled out. And now though, as you're listening to this, I'm getting ready to fly out, or I'm already there for his first birthday, which he really is so precious and squishy. And I just love him so much. So I'm very excited to see him again. And then I won't see him until July. And thinking about that actually gets me very excited, because at that point I would have already gone to Italy with my husband and the pool's going to be open. So let's get excited about the summer coming, okay? It's the only thing that keeps me alive during the winter months, honestly. But I'm jumping in here because I wrote a really good Instagram that I thought I needed to share on the pod. And it was all about if you want to sign clients at $800 a month and have them lock into 12 months, 18 months, even 24-month long contracts. I was like, here's what exactly I did, and here's what you need to do so you can do the same. And I was really reflecting on this as I was creating this specific post on the things that I changed. And of course, a lot of it is internal. A lot of it is the way that I thought about myself and my business, and it influenced the actions I was taking. And I talked about this in the Rebirth Receipts, which was a free event that I did in December. And I talked about how at the beginning of 2025, so a year ago, it was like pulling teeth trying to get clients to sign into my sales program. That was like $333. And I put in so much value into that offer. And I was like, wow, I am massively undercharging. I had my signature container, but at the time I didn't love it. I didn't love who was inside of that container, not because they weren't great, incredible people, because they are, of course they are, but in terms of the conversations that we were having and where I wanted the space to go, I was doing a lot of work for not being paid what the container was worthy of being compensated at. So there were a lot of things going on. And I even had this teaser option that I created for my signature offer. And it was a teaser hey, you can join for 2 weeks. And now looking back on it, I'm like, oh my God, I did so much work to create the workflow and everything for that fucking teaser option. And obviously no one joined it. I actually had somebody who inquired about it. And I was honestly, I think you should just join for 6 months after this conversation. And then her and I, she ended up re-signing into the mastermind for an additional year. And I had to get rid of that option. But that is just evidence of where my thoughts were. I was thinking nobody wants to sign on for longer than 3 months. No one wants this. And if they do, it has to be at a lower amount. So I was signing people at like $400 a month for 6 months. And that was the like highest I could get them at. I couldn't even fathom somebody like signing a contract for 12 months at that time. So there was a lot of like identity stuff happening there and a lot of things that I was doing strategically. And then by the end of 2025, so recently within the last couple of months, I have signed clients at 12 months, 18 months, 24 months at 800 plus per month. So my sales have skyrocketed, my cash has skyrocketed, and I really chalk it up to these, I think it was 4 things. Okay. So again, the receipts are in January last year. It felt like pulling teeth to sign clients into a $300 offer. I was massively undercharging. I decided to stop that shit, double my rates, and raise my fucking standards. And by August, I was signing clients at $888 a month on 12-month contracts. And since then, I've had multiple clients sign on for 12 months, 18 months, and even 2 years now. And I have $75K of recurring revenue already locked in for 2026 and into 2027. So the first thing I did, I started attracting long-term clients because I fucking became one. Okay. I invested for 12 months into mentorship. And then like 90 days later, I signed on for another 2 years. This has really changed everything, not just because of who I'm working with, but also who I see myself as now, as somebody who like is investing long-term and being worthy of somebody who can do that, who is going to have a consistent business, who is here for the long run. Like, of course, I've always said that. I show up consistently and I've been doing that since fucking 2018. But there was something about me like coach hopping and being in these containers where I sign on for like 6 months. And by the end of the 6 months, I'm already kind of thinking, okay, I'm going to move on. I'm going to sign with this person. Like always trying to look for the answer, the antidote, the thing that is going to skyrocket me forward. But funnily enough, the thing that skyrocketed me forward was committing to a fucking container long term and me seeing the value in that, the commitment, the safety of being in a long-term container with close proximity support. That decision changed fucking everything for me. And honestly, I feel really confident about saying that, of course, it is so much fucking easier to sign people on longer term contracts when you yourself are holding yourself to that standard. It does something to your brain. It does something to your commitment. It does something to you deciding like, okay, I'm here for the fucking long haul and this is how I am showing up continuously for this container. Okay. So I started attracting long-term clients because I became one, and it just made so much sense to me for someone to sign on with me for longer when I was willing to do the same. Okay. And this leads to my second point. And that is I also became a person who felt worthy of being invested in long term, because I'm going to admit something. I used to think that blowing up meant like I would finally get to relax. I would make a certain amount of money, then I would pay off my debt, then I could exhale, then I could relax, then I wouldn't have to like hustle every fucking day. And that belief is exactly what kept me from making real money, from making big money, and from doing it consistently over and over and over again. Because if I stop evolving, why the fuck would anybody stay with me? Because long-term clients don't invest in potential or your past accomplishments. They invest when you are moving, when you are in momentum. But if you tell yourself, okay, but then as soon as I sign these clients, I can relax, instead of thinking like, okay, now that I sign these clients, the work begins in like helping them move forward, helping them evolve, helping them grow. But instead, I just kept thinking to myself, I can relax. But realistically, it's like, why would somebody want to stay with me if I was not going to be constantly in love with the work I was doing, creating movement inside of my actual offers, evolving, constantly careening on the edge of my comfort zone every single day, because stagnant energy does not retain premium clients. Being stagnant and realizing that, okay, I was hustling because I kept thinking I just need to get to the next day. I just need to get to the next week. I just need to get to the next month where I'm making a certain amount, and then I can relax instead of thinking, okay, how can I actually run this business sustainably, and how can I create opportunities where I am constantly growing, evolving and changing and bringing clients alongside with me. And that changed everything. Like, my job is to manufacture momentum so my clients can rise inside of the containers that I create. And I think that this is relevant for all kinds of containers, like fitness, health, all of these things. If you yourself are not working on yourself, if you yourself are not thinking about how can I be better, how can this offer be better, how can I grow and change, and you're just thinking about what's going to happen when you finally sign that client and you get that cash in your bank account, okay, I'm all for being worthy of that amount. I am all for making the money and traveling and doing all the things for yourself. But if you are somebody who cares about service and integrity wise, your subconscious is like, hey, we need to believe that we are doing good work in the world in order for you to make this kind of money, then you're going to hold yourself back from making big money if you're just thinking to yourself, I'm going to relax once I get these payments. I'm just going to be able to take some time and just like breathe. I hired somebody who, and I've talked about this before, I hired somebody who would disappear off of social media whenever she like was doing really well, and then she would only really come back when she needed to make money. And it was very obvious, and I realized this after I hired her, and I was like, oh, that is not the fucking vibe. Like, I want somebody who is constantly like pushing their own envelope, who is constantly growing and changing and fucking moving, because that inspires me. And I realize I need to be that person. And there is a strategy and the conversations around capacity that we have inside of the Real Deal Mastermind that allow you to do this without burning out, without feeling like you can't handle it. Okay, so I had to also become a person who is worthy of being invested in long term. Okay, and then the third thing I did is I took daily action based on my goals instead of my emotions. So I channeled my most confident fucking self, powerful self every single day, and I sold like her. I created offers like her. I had sales conversations like her. I took risks like her. And as somebody who has anxiety and depression, like, it's very easy to believe the daily narrative that your thoughts are like capable of spinning, of like, okay, I got up today and I didn't have a DM inquiring. Now I'm going to feel like shit and I'm going to take longer to create my content for today. And should I even upload stories today because I already uploaded stories yesterday and I'm tired and I haven't worked out in a couple of days, so I'm feeling kind of stagnant in my energy. But I just constantly redirected myself back to the goals I was setting and who I needed to be to achieve them, even on my hardest days. So even if I'm like, I don't feel like her today, which there were a lot of those days, I was like, okay, but how would she be moving regardless? How would she be taking action regardless? If I have these goals by this time, and if I'm thinking like logistically about this, I'm thinking about how when I was changing everything about the Real Deal Mastermind in the summer, there were a lot of days where I got up and I was like, oh, like the mastermind is not what I want it to be. It doesn't look how I want it to look. I don't have the clients in there yet, like who are like paying the rates that I now raise them to. And how do I get to that place? So there was a lot of uncertainty, and instead I just acted as if. I just really took the actions, being like, okay, if I have a goal of having X number of people in this container by November, December, January, I need to act that way. Even when clients defaulted, even if somebody said no, even if it didn't look like anything was happening. Because when you're having a bad day, it feels really good to let yourself off the hook and not sell or not show up in your power. But then months down the line, you're wishing you didn't give so much power to your daily thoughts and emotions, because emotions are ever changing and so are your thoughts. So don't make decisions based on them. Make decisions based on the goals you have and who you need to be to fucking achieve them. And the fourth thing, you've heard me say this before, is learn how to hold the fucking line, okay? And the majority of people don't know how to do this. And it sounds so boring and it sounds so like, oh, you teach me how to do this in The Real Deal? Like, that's so lame. And actually, this is something that is going to blow up your business, that is going to change your entire fucking life. And it's learning how to hold the fucking line, because most people will give up on their one-to-one offer or their mastermind or any other high ticket offer, or they will quiet quit. And what I mean by that is, like, they'll still be showing up, but they know it's not at the caliber that they actually need to sign people into that container. And they don't have any belief in the container. They're thinking to themselves, nobody is going to join this. No one cares, blah, 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 blah. So even if you are showing up and you're saying, I'm showing up, I know that there's something about your frequency and your energy that is totally fucking off. And that's why you're not sending people into that container, okay? I don't care about getting paid every day if it means that when I do get paid, I'm stacking $1,000, $2K, $5K, okay? I had to hold the line for that though. Like, I had to deal with not getting the validation of payment pings every single day. And there are times when I am selling smaller offers when I do get those payment pings every single day. But I would rather sign high ticket clients and get a big payment here and a big payment here and a big payment here, because that's the business structure that I want. I want to work closely with high ticket clients that are paying me what my services, high ticket services, deserve to be compensated at. And I know that that also means that there are going to be days when I'm not getting paid. This also means that I have to sell even when it's quiet, that I have to be okay with the fact that my DMs aren't overflowing with all these fucking sales conversations that don't even actually convert. I had to be okay with the lack of validation and instead learn how to give it to myself. Learn how to show up and sell even when things are quiet and when I have zero creativity, and create something out of nothing. This is how you grow a high ticket successful business, is by learning how to hold the fucking line. And that leads me to the last one, which is keeping your standards intact even when you're tested. My biggest leaks in 2025 were leadership leaks, allowing people to put down deposits without terms and conditions, giving clients services even when they defaulted, going off of somebody's word instead of having them sign a fucking contract, giving massive discounts when my intuition was saying, don't you fucking dare, okay? These were all tests that I failed miserably over and over again until I finally learned that every time I do that, I erode the self-trust that I have in myself. I erode the ability to see myself as somebody who is worthy of the business that I fucking wanted. Because I can't be giving massive discounts and doing this or that and think that I can sign people at $800+ per month if I am not acting as if behind the scenes and in those sales conversations that I'm having and how I'm interacting with clients. Okay, I needed to treat people how I act in containers, and that is something I've always done. I always hold a really high standard to how I act, how I communicate with the coaches that I have, how I show up, how I make my payments, even if it was so fucking hard to. And I had to realize, like, okay, I need to hold clients to standards that I'm held to. Right? Like, raising your standards and then deciding to keep them raised no matter what happens will make your income explode, because you start to see yourself as legitimate. You start to see yourself as the real fucking deal. And when you join something like the Real Deal Mastermind for 12 months, your business becomes fucking legit the second you hit pay. You learn how to build an offer suite that rewards retention and makes clients want to stay with you long term. You sign high ticket clients that join long-term contracts without a long drawn out fucking sales conversation. You decide on standards that don't disappear when they're challenged or tested, and you become a leader who doesn't pull back or self-sabotage even when things are quiet, and instead you learn how to fucking double down. And that's how you create the results that you want. Inside of the mastermind, you are never guessing on what to do. You're held to consistent selling, even if it's uncomfortable. You're held to evolving your work so clients want to stay long term. You're held to holding your own line on what you charge, on your contracts, on your expectations of other people, and you become the kind of leader that people trust with their long-term commitment. So this is for the fucking woman who is done in 2026 with playing the short-term game with her business, and you want to stack recurring income for years to come. And I'm talking like 10K to 20K months. When you are ready to have the conversation about it, send me a DM on Instagram with mastermind. And additionally, if you send me podcast, if you send me the word podcast, you will get an additional deal that is only available to podcast listeners. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time.